Inside Story Uganda, real source of political updates. Inside Story Uganda.
Weekend ewedde omukulembeze gwanga yogerako eri ensi yattu Uganda oluvannyuma lwa cabinet okutuula ku Monday eri ewedde ennyini ne bakola resolutions ku nsonga y'ebyokusoma mu ggwanga era ne bagamba nti semi candidates okuli aba P6 senior 3 n'aba senior 5 balina okuddayo nga lumu omwezi ogenda okuba gutandika ogwokusatu era nga gwe guddako. So ne resolution endala gye bakola nti kindergarten bagenda gijjawo era omwana jatandika nga mu P1 nga alina emyaka 5. So ekyebuuzibwa kino kitegeeza ki eri ensi yattu Uganda? Abasinga obungi kufe twayita mu kindergarten emyaka 3 n'osoma baby, middle ne top n'omala n'ogenda mu primary 1. Kati okujjawo kino eno muzeyi Tamale oli muzadde, what does it mean?
The goodness of Museveni does not dictate. Museveni gives a flexibility. When Nyerere started the UPE, private schools yazijjawo. Museveni tajjawo private schools. Yakolera banaku be. Private schools weziri. Yali mu public schools. Kakati now, mugende mu maka mangi, mujja kusangamu obwana obuto. Obwogero olungereza obulungi. Bwasomyeko. That's why I have a quarrel with my mother. My mother says I was born in 1962 over 61. Me, I strongly believe I was born in 1958. Why?
Why?
Fete batukkiriza nga agenda ku ssomero nga tokwata kutu.
Wasookanga kukola bwoti?
Yes.
Ne bakakasa nti ddala
nga ne mu bbaasi tosasula nga tokutte kutu.
Nga kitegeeza ki?
Anti ye measurement gye bakozesanga bw'ojja okwata omwana w'omuto olaba oba yeekwata kutu. Kati measurement gye bakozesanga mu bbaasi ne ku ssomero kwekwatako ki?
Okutu.
Kakati nti because I spoke when I was 6 months nga mpakana nnyo ewaka, my father decided to take me to an Anglican school. Aba-Anglican be balina ezo Sunday schools nti oyawakananga mu poto, ffe twabayitanga bapoto. This is why I found myself in an Anglican school. Very talkative. I cannot qualify to join a school. Ate ndoza n'abakristaayo nabo balaba omusajja Catholic aliisa omwana we mu ssomero lyabwe kyabasanyusa. Kakati nti to me that does not matter. Can't you educate? Abaana bayigira waka.
First education starts from home.
Why has my son created a political storm? Ebitabo abiraba ewaka bya political science.
Ati n'abisoma.
N'abisoma. Awulira tepu zange nziba ebitabo byange. That's why you can produce a family of doctors.
Tova nkugamba is a replica of.
Anti kyenkubulira no. They are doctors, they are lawyers, they are mine is family yange bagiyita bati. Is a man.
Men buli kimu kwekiri.
Buli kimu kwekiri. N'omulogo mulina. Taka misiru witchcraft. I have somebody. Waliwo commander wa infantry. I don't go somewhere else. Kagati nkugamba. We look what the president, is it law or advice? Museveni normal advices. He gives an advice because he's an old man who has gone beyond. Look what Museveni, andi mwete musoma. Ekitabo kya president Museveni nekikyusa mu Luganda ne bakikaayina n'ekibawo. Akulaga his background. Museveni started thought about UPE after an incident. Sengawe yamuwa ensawo atwalyemu ebitabo n'agiteekamu ebinyeebwa emmesene zigirumu nga peni evamba mukuba ku ssomero. Naga nti omwana wa Uganda nalowooza nti omwana wa Uganda ng'ate okubulya ekitabo mukaamu tali kuyita mu buzibu bw'empiseemu. Always vote somebody who shares with you. Tulonda atufaanana. Kakati ekyo kimu. Ekyokubiri. The problem you have are SEPOs. ezo zemuteekawo.
Standard operating
They
procedures.
don't come from Ministry of Education.
Chimaindo
They
kubuza.
are
Where are
imposed
they coming
on Ministry
from?
of Education.
Who is advising?
Anti nkubuli enyito kuba meeting ne badduka. Sanitizers, ebipande, ebichi, babi kubadda webiriwa. Buli mwana baleeta dda gundi baleeta ki gundi obugema millions. Somebody was investing. SOPs in the Ministry of Education don't belong to Ministry of Education. I can play tapes here. Abantu ne badduka ne bambalasi. Kakati okusuubulira mu nzige, okusuubulira mu disaster yonna ne COVID bamusuubuliramu.
Mzee Tamale,
How
most
can
of these
Diana is shameless? If the shameless woman is Diana, how can you fail to develop the Mukaga Hospital and you meander into Nambole? I've been fighting for Nambole. Nambole is a 2 square mile land which they want to grab. Ochimanyecho.
ojikozesa mu
Nerandi title wali waje kuwese mumanyi wali mwogere bamukube bamutte.
Zembade manyi ensonga bagisotinga.
Ati kinkubulira. These people are trading in calamities. Enzige were defeated by Kavuma, General Kavuma. And I told you, Enzige are back. Enzige bazira zizikomawo. Bagala crisis era Museveni bamuppe.
Mzee Tamale, most of these kindergarten schools zebajjeko are privately owned.
Yes.
Abasomero gano bajja loan okugateekawo. Who is advising this country? Who is on a dinner table?
No. Museveni is not a dictator. But the problem is you don't have intelligent people like Mirundi. I worked with the president for 14 years. What I found about Museveni, he listens. You can urge your point.
And he listens to you.
Because we have a crisis. Which crisis? Abaana tubalekera abakozi awaka babatta. Babakuba. You can produce cases.
That is to a smaller extent.
Yes, ati nkubuulira. Kakati abakozi abantu betuyina workers. Nabagamba nti singa muyina abantu abategeera obutale bwonna bwali baddeko amasomero g'abaana oba care center. Do you think in Europe it is easy to produce a baby ng'ojja kukola omulekeraano? Kati awo muwino mu butale bwonna mwali baddemu care center ng'omukazi ajja n'omwana we n'amuteekawo naye omwana ajja naye n'apama mu bulo n'ayoola n'akasuka mu mmere gy'afumba n'ayoola n'akola ki n'obwana ne bulwaliramu eminyira buti. This is Islam. Amalwa gali wali. Yes, you don't have planners. We have a national planning authority. Bahati no koti we Kasayija n'embuzi ze ye Kasayija alondebwa mbuzi ze Mimi Kasayija yasinze embuzi wano mu Uganda zisinza amagezi yo buli kaseera Kasayija alondebwa mbuzi ze bajja komawo. How can you have a planning authority you don't respect? Then scrap it. We have a planning authority in Uganda. Nabagamba nti mu planning yensi when we are planning the country. In communist countries, we have what we call a command system. The Politburo, a secretariat, ebeerako bagezi beereere. Si jirikiti kuba dumping abalemeddwa. A secretariat will have the thinkers, the brain of the government. Will be at the NRM secretariat. The best brains. The best brains would be in charge of intelligence to analyze. Okay, create a department. Loyalism because Kakati Politburo is the Politburo, the secretariat that formulates policies. In communist countries, societies, you criticize the methodology, not the objective. You have a national planning authority. Tekizimbe bakikubye tekiyina pulana, tekyagoberera pulana. National planning authority chairman wayo mumanyi. Bahati n'obukooti bwe Kasayija n'embuzi ze bibali muhanizi bibali. Where do they get the plan? If we don't respect the national planning authority, does Bahati learn this Minister of Finance and Kasayija from their heads?
How effective should they be with COVID-19? While we are in the pandemic?
Parliament is a conversion box. You ask any political science professor. We put in demands, we get out policies. Nayote kola is clogged. Kakati mwesisiye muya mumunajijawo.
nze manyi ekibuuzo kye neebuuza kintawanya ndi muzadde ne neebuuza abantu abatuula ku dinner table y'ensi yattu Uganda ne batemaatemamu ne bavaayo ne ideas bwezi tujjewo
mafias use deception. They don't solve a problem. They take advantage of good government policies to get money. SPOs SPS, he was expecting to get 20 billion from SPOs.
Wow.
Had brought sanitizers, not brought from these factories. The man had brought warm guns.
So how should we expect vaccine
even created testing centers?
If you're talking like that, so how should we
these
expect?
These SPOs don't originate from Ministry of me, to be I'm a dustbin. Mirundi should be a dustbin. I go home and look and make my bricks like I'm doing it now. Kubanga you'll be how can I defend something which I don't believe in? How? Permanent Secretary, Minister of Education. Somebody imposes his SOPs on me. How? Kwanini? I'm a Ugandan.
But some of these SOPs that take World Health Organization. Omuli okunaaba engalo, masks, bichi.
No. Nkukubira akatambi wala kusawe.
Kaje.
Nkakukubire gwe.
Kaje.
Ndoke, uyina guts gwe.
Kaje.
Nkukubire ngoli ayogera sente zagenda okufuna. This country is in my hands. Tiri akola communication gwe sirina. No. Maybe because I'm a mature man. Kakati gwe yali ekukubye keno. Yali ekwasiza omutwe.
Atenge njagaza.
Olaba gentleman ali mu suuti ng'omusale ensawo. Ba! Ng'olaba gentleman awedde emirimu ono ye mwangu okusala ensawo eri wano oyinza okusala omusajja ayambadde olunyi ali mu yero wa NRM. Ba! Kakati ze mbagamba nti in my opinion the challenge is with the president and the president has an advantage. Museveni 90% can solve these problems because all of the people, I can reveal deceptively, all of the people creating these problems originate from the palace.
Within?
They come from the palace. No, from the palace. Every problem from the palace. SOPs from the palace. Kakati
kankubuze. Bogamat SOPs originate from the palace. Okay? Which seems to be according to you, erabikanga business y'omuntu. According to you. Kati eno vaccine gye bagenda otuleetera towards end of this month or early next month. How will it operate nga kegenda kujja business y'oli nga bw'ogambye?
Inamu problems. Nti, you see, the apartheid South Africa created the Bantustanis, only recognized by South African republics. This vaccine is going to be recognized by Uganda. Teja crossing borders because it takes a process to produce a vaccine. Kakati eyo yamu. There's a way I agree with the president. If it is not poisonous, try it.
South Africa bajigo.
Anti kugenda plan it. Gwe gibalekere bagikole. Omwana ayinza okusaba ebitabo n'akusaba jinga musiru bimuwe ye blaming. Bali bakoze ekiwa. Mutubuli yoba sajja mwe ba professor. Buje professor Kyemakerere kyakoze pads mu papyrus. Where are they, Mr. Professor? Ekisajja Kyemakerere tie kyakoze semanyi bakola.
But you should be proud.
Bakola gundi. Bakola ani? Bus.
You should be proud.
Kayola, where is it?
No, for a person like you, you should be proud of it.
No, the Sirimbi were deception. Kuba said, Akawunga Kamatoke Kariruda. President Yakwata Sirimi Square Maros, Nas woman said Yamita Sembebuya. Namga produce Turundi Rembos, Zero. Akawunga Kamatoka, Professor Mokasaria, yes, no Yadia, Warida. Me, I don't mind. Wasa omukazi omukadde nateka tawulo mu lubuto natandika okuwandula amalusu is inciting his mother-in-law because 9 months the woman will demand muzukulu wange aliwo Museveni abawe naye ensi ejja bakwatako era problem Museveni gyayina people are watching keenly what type of cabinet does he form eyabano baferias babafati kasayija balonde Idudu, yalimu amasanyalaze $50 million. We are waiting to see. It is a challenge to Museveni. Museveni is a liberator, is a reformer, is a statesman, has managed to rule this country like Moses. Kakati alikuwa swallow.
He's an overseer kati.
Kakati nkugamba.
So who is overtaking?
Nkugamba. Therefore, it is important that a retiring president ensures that his successor does not undermine his legacy. President Yoweri Museveni, I pointed out that he does not care. He said at one time that he does not care about the legacy. However, this is important. Ugandans will remember Museveni among other achievements as a man who restored peace, stability, and human dignity, and rejuvenated the country's image. Ugandans, for the first time in history, saw soldiers who do not rape women, who do not kill with impunity, or don't steal from the public. They remember Museveni, that Museveni turned the number of killing fields during Amin and Okello Lutwa's rule. He turned it to an industrial center. In the 70s and 80s, people would scan the Namambe forest on a daily basis to retrieve corpses of their dead relatives. Government soldiers would take their victims to this slaughtered dungeon and leave their dead bodies to be collected by their relatives for burial. The place became a mortuary of sorts. A group of youth permanently remained there in Ambole, in Namamve, to depend on income from relatives searching for their lost relatives. Museveni will be remembered for pro-people policies like UPE-USE Bonabagagawale, prosperity for all, free and fair elections, right from the village level to the president. Therefore, no retiring president will wish to see such an achievement erased by his departure. He therefore, in my opinion, cannot hand over power to a person who threatens to undermine the above. In the case of Uganda, this must be the main monument for President Museveni. This explains why, when President Moi took power in 1978, he did not rename Kenyatta's monuments after his own name. He put up his own structures. Even in his early days as president, Moi insisted on following the Nyayo philosophy. Employing, he was working in Kenyatta's footworks. A president must ensure a retiring president. This is where some of the policy people are making a mistake. A retiring president must ensure that his successor will protect members of the first family and what they have acquired or rooted. This explains why the first family must have an input in somebody who takes power, who succeeds the president. Although in Zambia and Malawi, it's the former presidents who have borne the wrath of their successors. In many cases, the family members become the punching bags of the new regime. Even where the president has committed human rights violations, anger is always meted out on the members of the first family. People often vent their anger on members of the first family. A retiring president must ensure that his successor will protect his security and protection from persecution. He should also be able to ensure his welfare. As people move closer to the global village, internationalism is also closing in. This means that we are having a new generation of rights. What was not considered as human rights violations have become so. The internationalism through new agencies like the ICC is intended to keep leaders in developing countries on their toes. They use those who have retired to shape those who are taking power. Therefore, a retiring president in choosing a successor must bear this in mind. Finally, a retiring president must ensure he retains some influence in the body politic of the country, the overseer role. Museveni must think about the overseer role.
Which is attending right now?
He has been a liberator, a reformer, a statesman, and his final destination must be an overseer. If you do this, I'm coming back. I'll go back to the bush.
But does it?
I don't fight for this.
Will it happen?
He must be tough on the parish people.
Nakubuuza luli ku Sunday, juzi nakubuuza ku Sunday. Nekubuuza Do you think it needs President Museveni to turn into a dictator for him to
The
act?
soft tyranny, if somebody wants to achieve the overseer role, the soft tyranny has always been retention of leadership of the party in the case of a ruling party. However, this renders the retiring president to easily come into a collision path with the new president, his successor. The situation becomes worse when his party is not the ruling one. It is what is happening in Kenya. Former President Daniel Arap Moi refused to retire and he still participates actively in the security and politics, at times taking sides in the very controversial government policies. This has helped him to remain relevant and defend himself. In conclusion, what protects the country from bad leaders and national institutions that can shape a leader's conduct and behavior? The country through institutions should make both the entrance exit doors wide and keep them always open. Once a leader misbehaves, there should be institutions to enforce accountability. A wise Chiganda proverb says that omuyonjo omutono gwe gwotenkoka ekinshoti. Literally translated in English to connect that a cock must fit in a small cage. It is not the cage that expands to create room for the cock. Likewise, it should be the leaders to fit in the national institutions, not the institution to expand to accommodate their leaders' personal and selfish interest. Stronger institutions should therefore ensure the leaders sticks to his or her role as a leader entrusted with the power. We should also borrow a leaf from the Islamic practice. Muslims always refer to their successful brothers and sisters in the beneficent community as Katonda Beyazika Kumali. This means that God only temporarily lends them wealth. He is free to withdraw it. And therefore, a leader must understand that this saying of Katonda Beyazika Kumali applies in politics. When leaders must know that all powers is enjoyed by the people, lent to them by the people. Anytime they come for it, it should be surrendered willingly, provided they do it through democratic means, not riots. Nakawanti is a good. Kasome, Kadika. Dated when?
Wow.
Dated when?
Dated 16th January 2015.
20 what?
15.
15.
Ngolabe bigenda okubawo kati. Nze Tamale.
Ndio kitu okunzanyisa nze. Nze nonzanyisa.
It's a good prediction.
Nonzanyisa. Oyinza okunzanyisa. Ntojja kujoka.
So if President Museveni
embwa kikanyuka kasasiro ate kutuko kulonda embwa mujijjeyo mujirehabilitate, which dog are you talking about? That this do I reject a dog?
President Museveni wabanga agenda kwataininga position ya overseer, which is a very difficult position.
Yes.
Can he attain it in a democratic setting?
Munsi ya Museveni temusobola kubeeramu bantu be basudde ku kkubo nga tebamanya abasuddeko. Munsi ya Museveni temusobola kubeeramu bantu be bakutte ne bateeka mu detention. Munsi ya Museveni agenda okubeera overseer temusobola kubeeramu gundi slavery. Tibakwata energetic young men ne babatwala ku farms ne babakozesa ne babalimiza ebinazi. It can't be.
But it's happening.
Which means the remaining 5 years, in my opinion, not 10. For those of us who want Museveni to take the role of the overseer, to know making sure to be and good enough, the 90% of the perpetrators originate from the palace.
Does he know them? Abamanyi. Why doesn't he act? What doesn't he act? Abamanyi. Why doesn't he act?
It is not Museveni. It's they. Nti Gundi Sengo, Maya Gundi Wade, retired. And his successor was Sally in Senegal. What happened? Sally Aquatia Wabana Wadaba, Mwana no Mulis. Former First Lady, again a Mukomero Kulaba Mwana. Never Mugamba Basirikale, what things? What did the Chicago?
I said,
into why? Mumas take out. Former First Lady goes under Sally, the former Prime Minister of what? Kakati, Ono, Gund, Dos Santos is in exile. muwala we izabeera alinnyayo obugagga bonna tebabututte kubanga that's also a trend. When the first family members mess up with the succession battle nebalowooza nti mujja kuvaamu omu ajuuka abantu tekisoboka. Politics like a marriage, you must create allies. Si bujoozi you must create allies. Kakati nze nkugamba ti as Zimbabwe comes bamupreparinga to come back, Kenya should also come back. Museveni's troubles started when Zimbabwe left. Ati kubuuli Mbabazi akomawo ngani ne Bukenya akomawo ngani Mbabazi webeera mu buyinza oyaliwo nga ne Bukenya waali ekintu kita bipolar. Instead of fighting Museveni, they were concentrating on each other. They had created the factions. Kakati waliwo mukubi kateera yababana abajjawo kateera nababana abajjawo bonna ne bagenda kakati ekyaddako problem nedda ku Museveni. You must create a bipolar. Instead of giving bipolar, again to some international relations, Russia and America. When the Russians collapsed, America became an international policeman. True. Kubata ina counter. Kakati the moment bano bakatera ruya bana abajjamu. Era nabaga nti mu institutions mwezo nazo weddewo. Edini eweddewo. Menga aweddewo, kali kyo institutions weddewo, amawulire gaweddewo. Kati bukedde temugenda kusigala muntu.
What is left?
Kurubya namugamba nababulira tibajiuga jinga. When our family was celebrating, I think 45 years, his birthday, they chose Bujingo Pastor, Bujingo follow people. Don't think that a state house function is just meander there.
They based on some factors.
Urwava state house. Kurubya mutandikira wone kabusenga namu bana because the instruction from somebody. Bana babujingo ne bakanise ne babaji. Kakati kurubya nakuwe nabagamba tikabusenga lemere kwerega ya buli muntu kabada telemera mu nyumba bagishika mu rugi nemudisa bagishamu kabusenga akitegedde kabada yefulumiza nito kabusenga kabada telemera kabada tiza kulemera mu nju kabada bagijika kabada tebagisembo
kabada isewo buyisi kabada bagijika yagenze mu ali retirement
ateta kale kabaka mu omulimo tulabe obaka tugenda
kumulako
kabaka inamanyi bamayika inamanyi kabaka muwadde omulimo kabaka muwadde okuli okubakolera sente emisini nedda obamayiga inamanyi wano oba kabaka inamanyi wano aweka abusenga omulimo akubya abaganda n'abamalawo how okumanya bakuba Bujingo yagenda n'asabira n'ekizimbe kya Uganda Revenue Authority ne bakigula endabirwamu ne baga nti era kyatonye atenze nga manyi story eyazimba ekizimbe kya Uganda Revenue Authority bamusaba million billions za dollars for guarantee omusajja bwaddayo baga nti ekizimbe kiwedde ne bamuga nti atwakayalire bazibbe
nyati report ya fuluma bagamba tibagala
akasajja ne Bujingo kanisa kajibalewo akasajja ne Bujingo Bujinga
kabada ya fulumi
Bujinga akusasudde abaziba bagamba I like the baziba we are near the border abaziba bakugamba
side ze Tanzania
okatera mandu anti engineer seze akayo kali bakalijo
mabitegezaji mandwa
a religious man cannot be attacked. You can humiliate him temporarily because he's a human being but if we work sharp you can humiliate him nokuba Bujingo nokuba kanisa ye nojikuba nojonona nojo kati kurubye ngalabi ajufulumya kabusenga kabada bagikyusiza bali muto gundi tetusobola kukkiriza mafaabi ajje kuba mafaabi baavu mafaabi mugezi obwavu si permanence mafaabi naye bw'anaafuna ku miliyoni ekinana omwezi mafaabi naye naafunayo because the brain abatamivu be baffe bayimbanga zaluma bigere omwoyo gutegeera baba zaluma bigere omwoyo gutegeera zaluma bigere omwoyo gutegeera jiggers don't affect the brain
zaluma bigere
they affect the toys jiggers affect the toys they don't affect the brain
mutwe kusigala
a jigger cannot penetrate inside your brain so poverty is like a jigger somebody can be rehabilitated nayinga ye eyatere mandwa otere mandwa ntinginyeseze kabusenga yali aganti abye Bujingo kurubya na Bujingo bachakumacha nabaga nti akasajja akupaka itagondi seguya kale kajja kali kava wa bujingo kumuandikako story kakati nina wembeera nina ekifo kyange wembeera erubaga eyo kakati bonga baagala bajje kumakya mbunye omwenge kumakya kakati mbunye omwenge kumakya nali nabawulidde nga boogera mu New Vision nga bakawa assignment kakati nze nga ngula ecupa zange ennya nga nzisumulula nga ngwakka
zonna
kajja kakaseguya kajja kamantaala ne kamera yako bwekati kajja kama kozi nze ndi mu hiding place ngakola ki
omulaba
nkalaba kakati ndoza kali katudde ku boda boda bakali kalidde kikomanda ekyeggulo obaki kajja kayingira mu ttoo nafulumya seguya mu ttoo yakwata ku toilet paper nafulumya seguya seguya ya musajja yalinye boda boda nga talina toilet paper
ogakatsa
samukiza ate yali tagaddeewo nalusindika musindikibwe te kamera nze nagimu mbo ajja okunkuba ekifaananyi nga ntamidde yali ezo bamulagidde mbawulira mu editorial mbugenda omukuba ekifa kava wa bujingo you have paid the media has paid a heavy price.
Katumalirize ensonga y'ebyokusoma aranga njagala muzeyi Tamale. I want to tap into your understanding and your knowledge of prediction. Ensonga nyingi ezetulano mu nsonga y'ebyokusoma. Kindergarten bagijeewo juzi President Museveni yali ayogerako n'asuubiza private schools okubawa 1 trillion nakati bazifunanga private teachers sako sente tebazifunanga. What is the way forward ku nsonga y'ebyokusoma?
Mwe kyemutamanyi kiri bwe kiti. President Museveni yalagira Teachers Union bagiwe sente 5 billion zabulya mu State House nga alupo minister kuteba wonye
5 billion
netugenda naku zino President abagamba bawe Teachers Union
1 trillion
billion ndozo bazalyana kuba basooka kubanga zigira mu instruments 3 ne bakwata billion 11 ndibazite baita omukazi ne muwala we ne bamugamba signing a document says tukwaddeko obukadde butaano omukazi ngalowooza mu sente ziri mu banka gyeziri the woman is languishing at ekitali president atuma omuntu ekitali atuma ekikyonki ekitali if that woman is there is not there omukazi sente yazikwatako and what is amazing in Uganda mbagamba nti mwetemutegeera bamafia we bakola. Those people who demand money from Museveni are sponsored by the mafia. Nti ba Teachers Union. Kakati look, obanga sente ezo zabula, have you had agitation in the Teachers Union? The woman is languishing at Kitali. Ne muwalawo. Billion tezikwatake 11. Bamuleetera tani na signing ebiwandeeko. If you get an intelligent man like you, like me, did you deposit the money in the union's account? I arrest you like grasshoppers.
Wow.
Good president yakwata abaana nga bamulemeseza abacuba for their own reasons. Nakwata abaana makumi aka bagende yindi yabasome bwagenda ko bana nenga sente zaabo badie mu mitwalo bazimba mu State House. Have you ever heard the chairman of the Doctors Association complaining? I have the numbers. These boys came back to me. Why don't they go? Do you see? It's okay. You see, when you are in a marriage, when you are a visitor, they start with shouting, they end up with the funny noise. Education, medical association, Teachers Union, this want to cheat himself.
Katugende mukumula mukatono ya kidnaps ensonga y'ebyokusoma